Players are losing ground again, and now it's starting to hurt. Players right now are watching their cardboard kingdom of Magic the Gathering fall apart. They're watching card values go down further and further. They're watching cards they've collected for years get reprinted over and over again and watch evaluations go further down the toilet, making them feel like they've wasted time, effort, and money collecting the game this long. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and we're going to have that conversation today about what's really happening and what you can expect to happen as the market continues. In my humble opinion, we have a very long way to go before we see how this is all going to turn out, and that's what we're going to discuss today. That's what we're going to go through. So turn off the panic alarm, sit back and relax, have the conversation with me today. Let me challenge you in a few things, and let's see where you all end up by the end of this conversation. It always hurts when you've paid top dollar for something and watched it lose value month after month. If you buy a stock for $90 a share in 2020, and now in 2023 it's worth $30, and you've lost $60 of value, that hurts. Now, depending on the stock you buy, you might be getting a dividend from the stock. It's still paying you a little something each and every month. Now take out the stock and put in a Magic card or a whole group of Magic cards that players have been buying and building their collections on. A lot of people will say Magic doesn't pay you a dividend. I'm here to argue that it does, because you get to play the card. Yes, you get to hold the card and keep it in your collection, but you also get to play with it. And that is the dividend of owning a card in Magic the Gathering, is you get to use it in deck construction and deck play with your friends. If it's a blinged out deck and it's a very fancy card, you get to show it off. That's the dividend that comes from owning Magic the Gathering cards. That's the payback. But it still hurts a lot when you see card values going down as much as they are. And you wonder what will happen. What players want to know, what is going to happen. It is going to get worse before it gets better. It will. Because of the inflation we are facing around the world, the potential job losses in different markets, and countries raising interest rates to fight that inflation, it will have a cascading effect across the market, and that includes Magic the Gathering. As much as we all like to blame just Wizards for this, it's not just them. They're greedy, and they're feeding on the carcass that is the player base to make their money, but at least we have the choice to buy or not buy those products from them. Remember that. You have a choice. And in some cases, the drop in values of these cards is very attractive for players who've always wanted to get certain cards. The market of the reserve list is doing very well overall. Lots of dual lands are moving because some players who couldn't afford them are finally getting a chance to buy those cards. But when we're looking at the player base losing money, it's never easy to see it happen. And players want to know when that recovery is going to happen. Now, anyone telling you that they know exactly when the market recovery will happen, they're trying to sell you something. They don't have a crystal ball and they don't know. There are a whole list of things that go into a market recovery. And before Magic can recover, before you'll see assets start to rise again in some of your singles, other outside factors have to be taken in. If Wizards slows down reprinting, if they slow down production of sealed boxes, if the outside market, which means the world economy, starts to recover quickly, leading to consumer confidence, leading to things like crypto going back up and players diving money back in to collectible areas like Magic the Gathering, there will be a whole series of effects that all happen slowly. None of these happen quickly. But nothing you own as a Magic player is a loss unless you sell it. Always remember that. It's not a loss until you sell the card. If you hold it forever, you actually haven't lost anything. It may only be in your mind, but you haven't lost anything until you sell it. You never know when something is going to recover. So just because it looks negative now doesn't mean that years from now it won't go positive again. Because I learned a long time ago, buying a box at $60 in Fallen Empires and considering that a bad deal, and then buying a box of Fallen Empires for $125 and feeling that that was a bad deal. And then the box goes up and up. Yes, it's a longer time frame. 20 years is a very long time for some Magic the Gathering products to see returns. And that may be the case for Baldur's Gate. That may be the case for Dragon's Maze. Nobody will truly know until more time is put into that equation. And it won't be a loss until you have to sell or until you want to sell. That's when you'll determine as a player how you're going to face your recovery. Because taking an asset that goes up, let's just say you have a good recovery on a couple of cards, you may decide to cash those in to help nullify some of the bad returns on other cards you've bought. We all have bad investments that don't go well, but nobody in Magic told us we would ever make money. And I always try to keep that in my head. Nobody said these cards would ever go up. There's an assumption, there's history, we know how the products have done, but you can't truly be guaranteed it. The game could have a nuclear meltdown and go to zero, and that's when you have to have that conversation before you ever buy anything that is Magic the Gathering related and say to yourself, if this goes to zero, am I okay with it? Because the game right now has chased away a lot of those flipper, tendy investors who came and went. If you want to be a real person to make any money in this game, you have to be a long-time person. You've got to put your time and effort in to a very long period of time to get overall good results. I know from people I've seen flip it and make a lot of money really short term, and they get out, that's great, it can happen. But the longer you're in, the better it seems to be. And I've been at this a very long time. And I can tell you, I've seen the market go up and down. And I've seen when Moxes were worth $25 and what they're worth now. And the prices are falling right now, but I can always look back at what they used to be and realize the market has come such a far away place from where it was that it can be truly hard to comprehend. People who talk about dual lands being $5, that's not a myth. That's what they were. You could just walk in and buy a playset for $100. That's what it was like. And it's never going to be that way again. It won't. But when you look at the cards you have and you're looking at the values and you're watching them drop, it's not as scary as you think because market recoveries will happen. They will come around and things will improve. And until that time, you can enjoy the cards you've bought, enjoy the dividend of being able to play with those cards, and not worry about what's happening out there for now. Enjoy what you've bought, be conscious of the money you're spending, and just look forward to meeting up with friends and playing this amazing card game. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out and having that conversation. I know it's not easy to see things go down in value and worry about what's going to happen. But since you can't control the macro factors around you like this, only the micro ones like choosing to buy a product or not buy, and understanding how you're spending your money, that's what truly matters right now. There will continue to be changes in Magic the Gathering. The game is always adapting and evolving and becoming more creative as the different iterations brought to us by Wizards of the Coast continue to happen. And the market will adapt as well. It will change with the popularity of certain formats and sets like Commander versus Standard. And Wizards may have to swing the pendulum the other way and make changes to those, which could bring a whole new market around. Remember, it's ever evolving and changing. And understanding that it's always going to be that way will help you make better decisions on which cards you want to buy, which sealed product you think is the best ones for you, and how you enjoy this game. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone for taking the time to hang out with me on the channel today, have this conversation. And let's see what everyone thinks in the comments section after watching this video. Do you feel the same way about the game, or do you have a different opinion of how you feel things are going to go? Thank you for hanging out with me today. I look forward to another video tomorrow. Enjoy Magic, because it's a great game. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to each and every one of the fantastic patrons on my channel who make things happen, guys. Without their continued support, this content would not be happening. So thanks again to all the fantastic patrons. You're here at the end. I have something to tell you. I just spent 2 hours watching He-Man, Masters of the Universe, the cartoon, the original cartoon, with the bad animation, the funny acting, and I enjoyed it. He-Man.